Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 9th, it's March, it's 2026, and all those things are completely debatable, but it is what it is, so let's do what we can with what we've got currently. So I prayed last night, like I often do, and I prayed to God because I'm touching on subjects that are apparently making waves and pissing people off that have been contacting me in certain ways. People you don't want contacting you, put it that way. And I prayed to God, and the moment I woke up this morning, I'm in my tent. I say a prayer. Thank you for allowing me to wake up. Please guide me in word and deed. Please don't let me send anybody in the wrong direction. And the first thing I found on YouTube was very strange, because all it did was remind me of a video that Keith from Minifish did a year ago, and it totally makes sense completely now. Trump wasn't coerced into putting Israel first. I mean, it's got to be clear at this point right now. Donald Trump doesn't give one single shit about the United States of America at all. He's just using it for what he can to further the Greater Israel Project and apparently bring around their Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Well, I found out some crazy things today that didn't make sense to me before, but it all clicked. You ask God to answer a prayer and you listen hard enough, he answers you, even a wretched soul like me. So let's get into this.
The federal government has intercepted encrypted communications believed to have originated in Iran and sent a warning to law enforcement agencies across the country. Those communications could serve as triggers for sleeper assets outside the Middle East, but there is no specific threat to any specific location.
Everybody knew that this is the likely scenario. We go to war with Iran, we should expect that their proxies are possibly being activated, and we all need to be on heightened alert.
Meantime, President Trump says Iran's new supreme leader is unacceptable. The person chosen to succeed Ayatollah Khomeini is his son, Mojtaba Khomeini. Mr. Trump says he is not ruling out sending in American Special Operation Forces on the ground to seize Iran's nuclear stockpile.
Well, isn't that convenient? The federal government has discovered information. The FBI has found out that Iran may be activating sleeper cells in America. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you know what the first thing that pops into my head when I hear that the federal government there might be sleeper cells? I think about this.
Cracking down on human smugglers and illegal border crossings is a top priority for the special session. Monday, members of the House State Affairs Committee heard from DPS Director Steve McCraw about a recent red flag.
I've seen some reports of some foreigners coming in through our southern border of, was it Iran, 4 individuals a week or so ago. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, that's in common knowledge, and I think most members are aware that over the years we've had individuals from special interest countries coming into the United States and apprehended in Texas, along Texas-Mexico border, anywhere from Afghanistan to Yemen, including Iraq and Iran as well, Pakistan, Jordan. So, yes.
Fox News Monday morning reported 4 Iranians, 2 on a security threat watch list, have been caught on the Texas border this month, the most recent Sunday morning. During a break,
yeah, they caught 4 of them, and only half of those 4 were on the terrorist watch list, which is insane because if you recall, on Jailbreak, when I went down to the Mexico border when they were allegedly having a standoff between the Border Patrol and the National Guard, which was completely not true in any way whatsoever at all, but that's what the media was saying. If you recall, I had a video where we had people lined up. Where are you from? Iran. It just went on and on and on. Fortunately, because America, YouTube took that video down, so I don't have that footage anymore. But isn't it convenient now? We're attacking a country, you know, almost April, we're attacking a country that hasn't attacked anybody since the year 500 and something. This is insane. It's one of the oldest countries on earth, Persia. Do you know what I'm saying? And we just have to attack them to get those nuclear weapons there. I mean, any minute they'll have nuclear weapons. I've been hearing that since I was, I think, around 22 years old. And I'm 58 now, so that's crazy. But here's another fun thing that I want to remind you about for April, because America first, right? April 1st, America. Make America great again. Are you guys, is there any doubt anymore what's going on? Well, just in case there is any doubt and you happen to wake up, they're ready. Remember this last year when Trump ordered the National Guard, he ordered Hegseth to get 500 troops for quick reaction forces in all 50 states in case there was a civil unrest coming. You think civil unrest might have had something to do with the war they started in March? They figured right around April people would be getting sick of the bullshit. Trump didn't. I was completely mistaken. And I say that because I said Israel forced the drop of the Epstein files in order to force Trump into invading Iran. Well, it was probably to force all the generals, all the other people that are in charge, all the congressmen, all the senators to just shut up and go along with the program. But Trump didn't have to be blackmailed, because Trump is one of them. He literally belongs. He belongs to Israel. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is complicated, but remember this.
You knew damn well I was a snake.
No, not that. This.
Happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured.
Now, we've all seen that, okay? The whole world has seen that. And many of us knew that that was not a real shooting. The people in the background are just sitting there. So somebody just fired at the president directly in front of you, and they're still firing, but you're going to sit there and just keep watching and looking? Everybody was completely inept. And the first thing Trump said when he got up was, "I need my shoes." Now, Many Fish did a video on this explaining it very, very, very well. But I didn't understand the gravity of it till I saw this morning. This was the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. Why? I don't know. But it explains so much. Trump didn't sell us out. We just got completely fooled. 100%. Well, I'll explain it afterwards.
For Trump to continue his loyal service to the Shabbat movement, which helped bring him to power, he would have to publicly declare his slavery to his Jewish masters by taking a piercing publicly to his ear. Now, it would be a little too obvious and frankly weird as hell for you to witness a rabbi publicly poking a hole in Trump's ear. So how could this public display of loyalty be achieved for all the world to see without raising any unusual suspicion? Well, on July 13th, 2024, while speaking at a public rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump was supposedly shot in the ear by a would-be assassin. A photographer captured this moment of Trump rising defiantly before all the world with a bloodied ear. This assassination attempt, however, was actually Trump's global initiation as Shabbat's loyal bondservant, the Messiah ben Joseph, otherwise known as the Forerunner. Trump, like Cyrus the Great before him, would be the non-Jewish Messiah, obtaining riches, subduing nations, and pursuing titles of greatness, who will conquer the enemies of the Jews so that they can destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque and rebuild the temple. And if you remember, in Trump's first term, he broke with tradition and moved the US embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing it as the capital of Israel. He assassinated Qasem Soleimani during his first term, and he was the one who greenlit the Pentagon's active planning phase for this war we are currently watching years before it officially kicked off.
So whether people are religious or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If they don't believe in anything, that's fine. But the people in charge absolutely do. And the people in Israel, the Jews, are waiting for their Mashiach to return. But I found out today that there's two Mashiachs. There's the Forerunner, and then there's the actual Mashiach. And Trump is the Forerunner. And one of the things they have to do is, once you sell yourself, because Trump's an arrogant, ignorant, billionaire, scumbag, pedophile freak, okay? Warmongering freak. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is a Mossad agent that married into the Trump family. And they said, you do what we say. We'll put you in the presidency, and you just need to do whatever we say, no matter what. And that'll allow you to be wealthy and famous and leave a legacy. Trump's almost gone. You know, the clock's ticking. This will allow you to leave a legacy. What he did was he sold himself. He sold himself. He traded himself to the Israelis. Now, in order to do that, you have to get an awl. An awl. It's a large needle with a wooden handle that you use for sewing canvas. I actually have one in this truck. I just don't want to look for it right now. And you have to do this publicly. In front of everybody, you get your right ear pierced with an awl publicly so everyone can see it. And that means you'll always listen to the person that you are a slave to. Straight up. Well, Trump couldn't go on stage so the whole world could see it, because you have to do it publicly so everyone knows that you belong to your slave master. He couldn't have some rabbi poke him in the ear for everyone to see. But the next best thing was faking a shooting, because see this? You see that? That has been there for... Can you see that? Right there. I got grazed. Wasn't my fight. I was walking outside and one went whizzing by my ear, blew out my eardrum for like 3 weeks. But it's been there for like 35 years. It doesn't just grow back. Trump's, on the other hand, is gone. Now, Minifish explained this right off the bat when this first happened, but I didn't understand the scope of it. I didn't understand exactly what he was saying. I knew he was on it because I reposted his video and said, this is the most important video Minifish has ever made. Well, I just didn't get it until this morning. So there's a reason I'm making this video where I am right now. My Starlink is way over there by the road because there's so many trees around. But I got to do this. When God answers, you got to do your part right away, even if it's uncomfortable to stand on your shaky old knees. At any rate, listen to this.
This Trump peace and prosperity plan, aka the Abraham Accords, the deal of the century, so on and so forth, I do believe we're going to see this come back into the picture. You have Netanyahu in the country meeting with Trump, who isn't even president, but he's meeting with him as if he were. But we can't forget that the Rebbe Schneerson, who many looked upon as the Messiah himself, told Netanyahu, you will be the one to hand the scepter to Messiah.
40 years ago, when Netanyahu was Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, he met Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, known simply as the Rebbe. The Rebbe believed Netanyahu had a mission from God to prepare Israel for the coming of the Messiah, or in Hebrew, the Moshiach. Soon after entering Israel's parliament for the first time, Netanyahu paid his respects to his mentor.
אני פעל בתחילת מעשה לאדם בתחילת מעשה, ואני מתכוון לחזור אליו.
aqui só depois sabe que no meio de triste essa lá no Chile. Levado vem que slash né? Tinha sacou de volta latada ver.
So we got to keep that in mind because they do have an understanding of things and they co-opt prophecy and self-fulfill it in order to fool and deceive the world. That's literally how they do it. They invert God's word and his prophecy. They turn everything upside down.
The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem. Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424. However, Donald Trump is mistaken if he thinks he was chosen to make America great again. But America will never become a great country on its own, because Esav's days are numbered. All our elite institutions and centers of power and influence are rotten through and through. The majority of Americans under 30 who are college educated and who are the future leaders of America support the vicious monsters of Hamas rather than the holy and courageous soldiers of the IDF. No human being, even Donald Trump, can reverse this. No, the greatness of America does not lie in its own success. America will be great when the Messiah comes, and the leader of this country, on behalf of all the good people in this country, will humbly present himself to the Jewish Messiah and ask him to accept the United States of America into a new alliance of countries who accept the leadership of the Messiah. A new United Nations will replace the current cesspool that goes by that fraudulent name. A real United Nations, united to serve God, led by the Messiah and based in Jerusalem. And my feeling is that the United States under President Trump will be the first nation to join.
So how crazy is all this? How crazy is all this? It is undeniable. It is absolutely undeniable that a week after his shooting, his ear was completely healed. They didn't even talk about it anymore. Many Fish put that video up back in 2014, I believe it was in July, and said that it was a blood on his ear, blood on his thumb, and blood on his foot. The last thing Trump said before they stood him up is, wait, let me get my shoes. This is crazy. This is crazy. He's not even being blackmailed whatsoever at all. He's not being blackmailed. He doesn't care. He sold himself to the Israelis under the impression that he's going to be some legend that future generations will read about in history books. He's a complete and utter sellout. And I've been telling you that since 2016. 2016. This is nothing new. But this just dawned on me. This just all came together for me this morning, and I wanted to lay it out so that you could see it yourself, because it's irrefutable. It's undeniable. They know it, and now we know it. And don't forget, April 1st, Hegseth, the Department of War, is putting all these military guys in place in all 50 states for when people finally realize whatever's going on, it's going to come to a head. You need to hit your knees, pray to God, and get your house in order, because the clock is ticking and people are too busy on TikTok and every other thing watching all the popular new right-wing truthers that are literally doing the same thing that Alex Jones was doing the entire time. Give you 90% truth and 10% whatever. You see what I'm saying? You need to, I can't possibly stress this enough. You need to, everything else doesn't matter anymore. They're stealing everything. And when gas prices really start to spike, no one's going to be able to afford to live here anymore. And that's the exact and total plan. You think Israel hitting those oil refineries last night was an accident? It destroys everything. I mean, the amount of pollution that's in the sky. When Saddam Hussein allegedly set all his oil wells on fire in Desert Sabre, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, the pollution was unbelievable. These people are going to do whatever they have to do. And don't forget, June is aliens. Because Why not? At any rate, I'm going to leave you with what Manyfish said, because he explained this a long time ago. I just didn't totally, completely get it. And I hope you do now. So, there, as they say, is that.
Portraying themselves as the sons of light. That's just the way it works. And if you don't see this stuff, you're going to fall for this. That Trump is this warrior king savior. I'm astounded at how many professing Christians are buying hook, line, and sinker into this whole thing. That Civil War movie, I do believe that. We are witnessing a civil war, a coup is occurring, and it's building to what will be a civil war. Don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but it's going to be ugly. That much I know. So, the 13th was a Saturday, a Shabbat, and you have Netanyahu visiting Trump, who isn't president, and he cannot leave until Saturday night because he can't fly during the Shabbat, which is exactly 2 weeks since the Trump event. I just go through this stuff. The shooter, there's a bunch of stuff on him too, but I'll wait to share on that stuff. The big thing, is you got to understand that there is a principle of inversion in the Bible, and that is how the devil operates. It's what he uses to deceive. He'll use scripture very cleverly and just lure in and deceive these well-meaning people who profess Christ, but they only profess him, they don't possess him, or else they would begin to see that this man is being held up as a Messiah figure. He likes being put in that elevated position. He loves it. So the Bohemian Grove literally held the cremation of care ritual on the same day as this Trump incident. You cannot get around that. And it's interesting that it was started in 1878. Trump just turned 78, and it's been 147 years, and he's running for the 47th president, which I believe we will not see. I believe that Biden 46, that'll go down in history as the last official president of the United States. Even though he took it by fraud, it still will go down in history that way. And it's interesting to me because that 46 is the same amount of years they spent building that second temple, which was destroyed on the 9th of Av, which is coming up. Jesus told them, destroy it and I will raise it in 3 days, speaking of the temple of his body. But they just didn't get it, and they still don't get it. And people are saying, God spared Trump, he's God's man. Of course God spared Trump. He's sovereign over everything, everyone. But you still have the free will to choose the master that you will serve. And Trump, as you know, you can't serve two masters. He serves the master of mammon, money. He loves money. And they put him through a ritual on that stage that mimics the consecration of the high priest, with the ram's blood on the right ear, on the right thumb, and on the right toe. And he lost his shoes during the whole thing.
What's going on? Was he shot? Was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone saying, let me grab my shoes, as they tried to take them off.
So one can safely assume that all the elements are there for this inverted consecration of their high priest. And it's so interesting to me that the Church of Satan, the 5th degree high priest, is literally titled MAGA. MAGA Magnus is the title of the high priest of the Church of Satan. You can't get around that. A servant is given the ability in the Old Testament to be freed after 6 years, but he can choose to stay and serve that master for his remainder of his life. And the master will pierce his ear through to mark him as a lifelong servant. He was marked through as a servant. That's what he is fallen into. God can do anything, but as it stands right now, he is your Barabbas. He is taking on the role of the high priest that will lead you to your death. That's really what it amounts to. It really is. It's interesting, too, that the servant of the high priest, that Peter, when they were apprehending Jesus in the garden, cut off his right ear. And what did Jesus tell him? He told him, put away your sword, Peter. But Trump is telling you he is your vengeance. In fact, check out this clip, what he tells you he is.
This is the final battle. They know it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. This is it. Either they win or we win. And if they win, we no longer have a country. But I do it for you, and that's what I'm doing it for. I do it for you. And if you put me back in the White House, their reign is over. In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. I will totally obliterate the deep state. And then you had COVID come in, and a lot of things had to happen, and we did a great job. We never got the credit for that job, but we did a great job with COVID. I am your voice. I am your warrior. I am your justice. I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.